So one thing about this rifle, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. It served its purpose. It served it very well. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Madras Arsenal. Today we're talking about the infamous, or more so famous, Mosin Nagant M91 This rifle has played such an interesting role in history. It dates back all the way to 1891, where it was the model 1891 Mosin Nagant, which was a little bit longer. In 1930, they decided to cut it down a little bit, and that's this version right here. And it has seen action all over the world, from the 1890s all the way up to now in Ukraine. You can find videos of them. I remember it was interesting when the thing in Syria kicked off back in like 2014, seeing these still being used, and then here recently seeing these used all the way, into Ukraine. Which brings me back to another interesting point. Last night I was looking for the spam cans, and if I remember correctly, when I bought mine, it was about 120, 150 bucks for the spam can of like 440 rounds. Now it's up to about 350 due to the shortages, and of course, they've been not importing those because they're shipping it, all to Ukraine. So yeah, that modern day events have affected the value of this rifle, and that is pretty interesting to me. So what it does is it shoots a 7.62 by 54R, the R denoting that it is a rimmed cartridge. Actually, I think it's the oldest caliber that is still widely used to this day. And I'd say that internationally, but I'm sure some of the old black powder cartridges, they have their thing. But this is the one that is still widely used. You got to think about the Maxim machine guns still being used in Ukraine. Those shoot 7.62 by 54R. Of course, the Mosin Nagant, the Dragunov, things like that. So it's an old cartridge. Originally it was black powder. Then it quickly became, I think it was the world's first smokeless cartridge. So it was like right there at that transition point, which is another interesting part. That's an interesting piece of history, or era in history, that I really enjoy studying, is that transition time period. I think that's why I like the 1890s so much. So yeah, they were proofed in black powder as well as smokeless powder. I did a video several years ago where I made some black powder loads, so be sure to check that out. But yeah, so let's go ahead, let's dive into this thing and see what it's all about. So one thing that really needs to be taken into consideration when we examine this rifle is how simplistic it is. But also remember that the Russian Imperial Army, in the 1890s and before that, was largely made up of peasants. You didn't need something that was overly complicated to operate or to maintain. The officer class was aristocratic. There was a huge divide between the two, and that is one reason I feel like this is such a simple and robust design. So let's take a very close look to this rifle. So here we have the rifle. Breech is, or bolt is open. Very simple design, very easy to operate. Due to YouTube, I can't show you how the bolt comes out, but essentially you just pull the trigger, pull the bolt out. It's very easy. The stock itself is made out of beechwood. A lot of times these would have been either stained or left as is, and then it would have been shellacked. The shellacking, I believe, if memory serves correctly, which someone in the comments correct me, was used during the Cold War when they went into storage. I do believe they also had a shellac coating during the war, but I can't be sure of that. This is a 1941 dated Mosin Nagant, and very crude from what you would see from like the American, Springfield Grand. Hopefully the camera will focus. Very crude, you can adjust it, but you have to have a very special tool, and it's very difficult to drift the front sight. It was said that these were sighted in with the bayonet. From all the research I've seen, That is correct. This goes to an optimistic 2,000 meters. I would say that volley fire is what this was used for, so it was a bit outdated, sort of like the 1903 Springfield. Not saying it was outdated, but it had the volley fire sights. And yeah, very rudimentary, very crude. These are the stripper clips for the Mosin Nagant. I'm not a fan of them. I don't like how they load, but essentially it's pretty easy. Insert into the grooves, and then you have to pull up on this last round and push all the way down. It's a terrible design in my opinion. It should have been a center fired, or they should have adopted a center fire cartridge in my opinion. But the Russian logistics and their technology just was not up to it. Sling is original to the rifle, probably 1950s. Well, okay, I say it was original. It came with it when I purchased it. More than likely this is a 1950s sling that was put on. And then of course the ammunition pouches, they are dated 1959, so they're not World War II correct, but that's what came with the rifle. So here we're going to take about 5 rounds, maybe 10, and just show you how the rifle functions. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this method. And the inevitable rim lock happens. All right, let's go down range and see how we did. All right, so shot a little to the right. I was aiming for the X. But on a person, human-sized target, that still would probably not feel too good. Okay, so not too bad. I haven't shot it in several years. Not the best shooting I've ever done, but I'll take it. So let's do 5 more, and I'm gonna aim more towards here, see what we can do. 5 more, load it up, going for the head. See how we did. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's a little high. Not the best since the target's at an angle. Missed him completely right there. So, okay. Not too bad. I mean, the Mosin Nagant's not the most accurate rifle, but at the same time, I'm a little rusty on it. I haven't shot it in several years, so. Anyway, let's go back and talk a little bit more about the rifle. So one thing about this rifle, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. It served its purpose. It served it very well. It saw, like I said, action all throughout history from 1891 all the way to now. As of 2024, well, 25 now. Everything between then and Ukraine, it's seen action in, and it's performed well. It's a robust, sturdy rifle. It's a great hunting rifle, honestly. I take this hunting quite often they have hunting rounds that you can purchase online. It's going to take down probably most any big game here in North America. I would definitely trust my life with it. But these rifles, they served, they had one purpose, and that was to kill the enemy. And this one definitely, not this rifle specifically, I had no idea, but you know, it definitely, all the way from Poland all the way to Berlin in 1945, which is kind of why I have the World War II looking stuff on. Yeah, you can see photos of this used by both the Germans and the Russians. And yeah, even I think the Polish army used a lot of these as well. Not in large numbers, and you won't, you know, the photographs are limited because each nation didn't want to see the enemy, you know, being used with their weapons or whatever. Whole propaganda thing on that, but it was definitely used by both sides. So it was a good service rifle. It's not the prettiest thing, but it is fun to come out and shoot. It's the ammo, relatively until now, was pretty cheap, but you can still find ammunition here and there, probably on some auction houses, things like that. So if you guys want to have any questions or anything, or want me to cover something else about the Mosin Nagant, I will definitely be happy to. I do love this rifle. It was the very first rifle I ever purchased, and I've done a lot of research on them. But yeah, it's a great rifle. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as I said, I'm going to keep doing more gun content, as well as the homesteading with the property as we get our shooting range up and running. So stay tuned for that in the future, and I'm going to wrap all of that into this channel, and you guys are going to see a pretty awesome journey come to fruition. So stay tuned for that. If you want to support me on Patreon, that'd be awesome, or just join the membership here on YouTube, where I will release various things to members only. I already have quite a bit of videos already uploaded to the member section, so be sure to check that out. There's a lot of perks to it. And what else? Yeah, just give a thumbs up, a like, hit the bell. If you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. I've got like 500, I think about 500 videos, so check them all out. I got tons of playlists and everything. I try to make it easy to navigate. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.